What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're going to be reviewing the GameSir Nova 2 Lite. This controller is a budget controller, right around $30. It has wireless, Bluetooth, and wired capabilities. 1000 hertz polling rate on wired as well, and it also has its own software suite. But as we kind of unbox it here, you'll see that actually, for $30, it not only does it come with the little accessory pack you see down there with the power cable, and manual and things like that, but it also has a hard case here that is honestly an incredibly welcome addition for a controller that only costs $30. As we uncase it here, I should say, you'll notice that I did get the carbon gray and orange variant, and the first thing I'll say about the controller that I noticed is the buttons are very much like your traditional Xbox, I would say, feel. The D-pad is actually a clicky D-pad, as well as it has back buttons, both left and right, as well as trigger stops. Now, one note on the trigger stops is they only work if you go into the software and essentially enable the adaptive trigger or set the dead zone manually, which we'll take a look at here in just a second. But honestly, they feel incredibly nice. And I would kind of, I guess, compare the triggers to that of the PlayStation, and the body to more so like a either an Xbox controller or kind of like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but it feels great. But let's look into the software. Alright, what's up guys? We are giving a try to the GameSir controller that we just unboxed. I did go ahead and do the firmware upgrade, which is this arrow in the top right. If you guys see that, you want to make sure you upgrade it, and I always recommend you hardwire first. That way you can get the firmware upgrades, and anything that needs to be done to it, it'll actually push the updates through. Now with this controller, there are a couple things just to be mindful of. I went ahead and configured my controller the way that I want it, but I'll quickly walk through what this control panel looks like. Just as an FYI, this is not the same as the GameSir Nexus, which is used for the G7 and the G7E. G7 SE and G7 Pro, those controllers that are Xbox licensed. This is GameSir Connect, which is a different software entirely. You can get it from the Microsoft Store. Super easy to install. Now, so we have some settings here, like dead zones, etc. This page is kind of a summary page, not really a lot going on here that I would worry about. We're going to go into the actual settings page in a second. Also, they include a lights adjustment, but this controller only has one LED and it's right in the center, so not really much you could adjust. But if we go into the modifications, we can see the buttons. Personally, I like to map my back buttons, the L4 and R4. I went ahead and mapped this one to A and this one to B, and I just unmapped that accidentally, because that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm used to on all my paddle controllers. For sticks, you can modify the dead zone if you want. I did go ahead and modify my initial dead zone to 2. You could go 0 because these are Hall effect sticks. You could go 0, but I went to 2. And I didn't really do anything with the anti-dead zone. So I did that for both. Triggers, this is personal preference. I went ahead and turned on the trigger stops with adaptive mode, and what that does is it will automatically detect and 0 to 100 instead of, if we have that off, for example, it's a, whoops, I have it still. I gotta turn off the actual trigger stops. And whatever, it's not working. Anyway, but I have it on adaptive mode, so I don't have to worry about that. It'll go 0 to 100. I did hear about a bug with this, though, that the adaptive mode doesn't always work with the hair triggers, so you might need to come in here and manually adjust the dead zone actual bar if you need to, if it's not actually registering for you. So that's a possibility. Vibration, I'm going to leave that up to the game, and then lights doesn't matter. So that's basically all that you have access to. That's the whole control panel. But yeah, thanks, and we'll get on to some gameplay. What is up, guys? We are in our very first game here. This is, I think, just started. Yeah, this just started, so we'll be able to hop in and actually give this controller a try again using the new GameSir Nova 2 Lite, or I say new, but new for me. And we're gonna see how it goes, and hopefully it's pretty decent. And I gotta move the mic out of the way a little bit. Hopefully it's pretty decent. We'll see. I do already like the way the sticks feel. They already do feel very nice, but we'll see how it goes. Right now I am using the what's the word? Oh my god. The trigger stops. So I do have the adaptive trigger mode on, and we'll see how this goes. So far, I mean, just running around with it, it feels okay. It feels pretty nice. I like the tension. Ooh. I do like the tension on the sticks. They feel a little bit tighter than the G7, just kind of as a reference point. And did I see somebody? And I do like that. I prefer that. Is that? Can't tell if that's a guy or not. I do prefer that in general. Cool. It'll take a second to get used to this. I'm already aware of that. You know, anytime there's new sticks. And there's a sniper way back there. But I have to say, like, I'm used to trigger stops. I bet he's on, I guess, behind one of these? Question mark? Oh. I'm used... Jeez, I can't speak. I'm used to trigger stops on, like, the Xbox Elite controller. And those are a little... It feels a little different than these. Shouldn't have reshelled that. Something I am interested in is because the R1, the L1 R1, they're not the same, like, I don't know how to describe it, I guess heavy pressure that you'd get from, like, an Xbox One controller, a default controller. They're kind of clicky, almost like the PlayStation 5. They actually feel remarkably like the PS5 version. And I'm kind of curious, because I used to play Call of Duty with L1 R1, whenever I played, whenever I used to compete, and that was on PS4, early PS5, before I swapped to PC. So I'd always use L1 R1, so I'm kind of used to that. I like the position of it. I'm curious to try that. I'll probably try that in the next game and see how that feels, because they do very much feel like the PS4, like PS4, PS5, but we'll see. For now... Oh, and the other thing I like, I will say, that I've immediately noticed is the D-pad is very clicky. It's like mouse click. I don't think it's actually mouse click, but it feels like mouse click. Very easy to press, very, very clicky is the best way I could describe it. So, big fan of that, I gotta be honest. This guy to my right. Oh, that was close. Actually... No way. Barely. Now... This is gonna go back to what I was saying the other day, is as soon as they swap... Boom. Smoked. Very nice. I think the only reason I got that kill is because somebody... What the hell? I think the only reason I got that kill is because somebody shot it before. I really want to take out that little bird, but I gotta save my tank first. Alright, got him. Now little bird? Now, little bird. Oh, never mind. Sure. I'll take it, I'll take it. And the latency? Amazing. Feels just as good, if not better, than the G7, which I'm pretty sure the G7 technically is better in terms of overall performance, but I will say this feels absolutely incredible as a weapon, or as a controller. Alright, this game looks like it is about to be over momentarily, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap to the wireless mode. We're going to give that a try and see how bad the latency is. Alright, what's up guys? We're in game 2. We are wireless, no wires with the dongle, bang bang. Right off the bat, I mean, I can't really tell a difference with latency. I'm sure there is one, but it's pretty snappy right now, to be honest. So, and again, we are dongle. We're not Bluetooth right now. This is the dongle that they actually provide. Well, damn. I was waiting for a good opportunity. Very nice. There is one in the office above us. Oh, my game's lagging a little bit. Aw, man, really? Is it that fucking corner? Dude, some of the corners in this game are actually insane. I have to admit, they're just absolutely insane. But honestly, I can't tell a difference, realistically, between the wired and the wireless. I've used a lot of controllers in my life, both wired and wireless, and at least with the dongle, I can't tell a difference. Now, Bluetooth, I expect, we're not gonna test Bluetooth today, but I do expect that just based on the Bluetooth protocol and how it actually works, there's gonna be some latency on Bluetooth. It's probably not gonna be a ton, but that snap was actually, that felt great on this controller. But there's gonna be latency on Bluetooth. There just is. It's gonna happen. One more. Somebody just needs to hit it once. Hit it once. Got it. All right, let's give this a try. Nice little streak. Oh, shoddy. Ah, fuck. Oh, I didn't even see them over there. Damn, what the hell? Damn. I will say, yeah, dynamic is the way to go, for sure, for sure. I feel way better with this. Way better with this. In that doorway. Yep, I knew you were gonna do that. Well, that's gonna do it for the review of the the GameSir Nova Lite. Honestly, in both wired and wireless, it did absolutely amazing. I don't know about Bluetooth, but I'm gonna test the Bluetooth out. Playing some not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Had to think of it for a second. On my TV, it makes life easier. That's actually the reason I got this originally, is not to use as a main. Well, I guess to use as a main controller, but to use it for its Bluetooth capability and its wireless, because I don't like being wired to everything. So it's performed exceptionally well in the small handful of games that I've played here. So I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it so far. For a controller that's $30, which is half the price of a mainstream controller, and for something you can attach to an Xbox with an adapter, um, it's an incredible bang for the buck. I'm actually very pleased with this controller. I think that it's probably the best controller I've ever gotten for $30. Um, like, the plastic feels high quality, it feels great. So, but anyway, that'll do it, you guys. If you enjoyed this content, please leave a like, subscribe, and ladies and gents, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, day, or